Hello everyone. This is my Overwatch Xbox One tips, tricks, and general information video. And I'm just going to be bringing you some information that may help you be a little bit better on Xbox One for Overwatch. The first thing I want to talk about is the kill feed. Turning on the kill feed is essential to this game at a competitive level. As you can see, when I killed that bot, it pops up letting me know that I killed the bot. When in game, it'll let you know which enemies are getting killed, which teammates are getting killed for you, allowing you to be able to process what are the numbers. Any FPS player on Xbox always needs to know like the numbers of the team in any team-based game. Knowing how many you got, knowing how many the enemy had. It lets you know when you need to push, lets you know when you need to retreat. The way you turn that on is you go to press start, you go to options, go over to control. You go over to gameplay, sorry, and you turn the kill feed on. Step 2. I'd say a good thing to do to make it just slightly easy on yourself so you can hear sound effects and also your team's communication is this. I suggest turning down the game music. I turned down the music, 20%. It was at 100 originally, I turned it down to 80. You can hear all the sound cues. You can hear your teammate. You can hear footsteps. Like, all these things are pretty important in FPS gameplay. So that's my suggestion to you guys. Another in-game tip. On payload game types, the payload itself, it heals you over time if you're not getting shot. Like if you're able to stop, if your support player is busy and you need to fall back and get your health anyways, there may not be a health pack around. If you can get near the payload and and it's uncontested, you're not getting shot at, you're not taking damage, your health will slowly regenerate over time. So it actually helps to play it. It actually pays off to play objective in this game. The next tip is a lot of players don't really rely on their melee at all. They always just shoot. Melees do 30 damage. So if you think about it, you have your gun damage, you have ability damage, and then if you still can't finish them by then, you have melees to finish the job. And there's going to be a lot of close range battles in this game depending on what character you run, depending on what's going on. You may be face to face with any number of characters, and maybe all you need is 1 or 2 melees, which should be easier to land than trying to shoot, maybe a Genji up close. The next tip, the same thing objectively with payloads. Having 3 teammates within the proximity range of the payload, I say probably 5 feet or less, being around, this is about as close as you need to be in any direction of a payload per se. It moves the payload the fastest. Like when you're trying to complete the map at a max speed, you probably need at least 3 of your teammates on the payload to move it at full speed. Also, for the control maps, when capping a hill or capturing a point, it captures the quickest with 3 players inside. So with this basic information I've just told you for payloads and capture points, you could probably assess as the FPS player that, okay, we can have 3 people playing OBJ and 3 people kind of roaming and slaying, or 3 people pushing up and giving your team some space while you capture the point or you move the payload. Okay, the next tip is body shots damage make 1 noise and headshots make ringing like a bell noise. And this is different than a lot of FPSs I've ever played, is it's really good to know when you're shooting a headshot versus when you're shooting body shot damage, but it gives you a sound cue. Another reason that turn down your music is good. You can hear the headshot. I think that's a really good thing that this game provides. Also, my next step. If you could pretend this is our respawn point, anytime you see the respawn with the big check mark, this means that once you walk inside this point, you'll get your health back. So if I was injured, I would get my health back right then. So okay, example, I'm weak. I go in here and I get my health, right? Well, there's a couple of points, not on every map is this a good idea, but there's a couple of maps where it would help you to save time to just run back into your spawn, get your health back, and come back out, and quickly be back in the fight. Maybe if your support player can't get to you quick enough, or even if it would just be faster for you to go get it yourself and then come back. I'd say Hanamura is an example on the second point. You know, if you're already sitting back there, you know, behind the hill, running back and getting your health is fairly a quick thing to do. So that would be my suggestion for that tip. I'll talk a little bit about settings for a second. Controller settings. I like the fact that this game is very customizable. You could set the parameters on an all hero basis, and then you could go through and you could set them per character as needed. It gives you all the options that you need. For sensitivity, it's very customizable. I like that. You can also adjust any buttons on a per character basis, which is really good because once you have a feel for your character, you may decide that these buttons that you're trying to press don't combo very well, and then you can move them around. And it's not like Halo where you would need to remap like with a Xbox, you know, like with the settings or anything. It's just you're just remapping the buttons internally in this game, which I think is amazing. Obviously, like most FPS gamers, maybe some Call of Duty, maybe they like their bloom, but us Halo players, we generically do not like bloom on. You can pick your crosshair type. Now this is what I'll say about this. Most players like myself, we like crosshairs. Like I know every individual character in this game has their own set reticle type. Now you can go through and see which ones you want to keep and which ones you don't. But my personal preference is I like the crosshairs on all my characters. And then like on certain characters I like have adjustments on certain characters. Like I use crosshairs for everybody but Widow. Widow I like to use the short crosshairs. So when I scope in, my reticle doesn't take up the whole screen and I can still see like at a far distance. So short crosshairs may be better for certain characters. Maybe the dot will be better for certain characters. It's about preference and game time. Once you play with them enough, you see what works for you. Maybe the small circle will work for like a certain character, like a Junkrat or something. Like maybe a crosshair isn't the best reticle for Junkrat, or this is all preference and gameplay in that respect. Now when it comes to the color, you always see this on PC that they always pick green. But these tips are for Xbox. We've been playing Xbox our whole life, and our crosshairs are always white and they turn red when you see an enemy, or they're red the whole time. So I've always preferred the bullseye red color for my reticle. This isn't a PC thing, this is completely an Xbox FPS thing. I mean, you know, this is my this would be my preference, my general preference overall when it comes to that. I prefer to take out crouch during this game. It's a crouch toggle to where if you press it and you don't unclick it, you'll stay crouched. And during some battles, that could kind of get you into trouble because you don't know if sometimes you won't know if you pressed it or not. So I just took off my crouch. That was something I took out. Everything else I left pretty much default, and I changed on a character to character basis. Like I went, this is the all heroes menu. But let's say I want to go and pick certain characters. The one that have the asterisks next to them, like Junkrat, Diva, May, Reaper, Reinhardt, 76. These Widow, these characters that have those asterisks or stars, those are characters that I changed their settings individually. Like they now have set settings for themselves, unlike the rest of the characters, where I haven't made any adjustments or didn't need to. But there were some things on Widow or 76 or Reinhardt that I felt like combo better if maybe it was a different button. So, thank you for your time. That's all I have to share today. Say like, subscribe, and you know, and comment. Tell me what you think. I really appreciate it. Y'all have a good day.